So I stress about stress even before there's stress to stress about. And then when I'm start stressing about stress, I keep stressing about stress that doesn't need to be stressed about. Oh my gosh, it is so stressful. I'm so stressed. Are you stressed? Yeah, I bet you weren't just a couple minutes ago. So stress is everywhere and not going anywhere. We have workplace burnout. We have quiet quitting, quiet cracking, migraine headaches, heart disease, diabetes. We have overwhelm. We have death by suicide, gastric issues. If stress was a disease, it would be considered an epidemic because, whoops, I forgot my slide, because it has its fingerprints on just about every modern day illness and sickness. I would like to introduce you to my mom. My mom was a super mom of the 70s. So those of us that grew up in the 1900s, we're not that old, probably had a super mom too, right? A super mom that had 2 full-time jobs. Had a full-time job inside the house and outside the house. And then the moms think they can do it all. They should be able to do it all. And as a little girl growing up, I saw my mom doing it all on the outside. But I didn't see the toll it was taking on the inside. Oops. So in this picture, my mom's about 70. You know, and as we start to approach 60 and 70, we think it's the golden years, right? Kids are out of the house, you're empty nesters, you know, your stress is pretty low. Well, then your husband retires, and then your husband needs back surgery. It doesn't go well. Now you're his caregiver for over a year, hanging antibiotics, and it's just so not in your wheelhouse. And then you find out your son has a diagnosis of cancer. Meanwhile, you're trying to emotionally support your daughter, who's going through navigating motherhood, the adoption of 2 toddlers. It's a lot. Stress overload is a lot. And still, you think you can do it all, and you can help everyone. This picture was taken in the mid-2000s on a mother-daughter trip to Germany. We celebrated my aunt's birthday. You know, and it's really funny about pictures, because when you take a picture, when you pose with somebody or do a selfie, who here thinks, wow, this could be the last mother-daughter trip I ever have? Or who thinks, wow, this could be one of the last pictures I'll ever have with my mom? 6 short years after this picture was taken, my mom was dead. She died of a massive, unexpected, massive heart attack attributed to stress. Ignored stress, real consequences. And I still miss her. All right, so now we know we need to do something about our stress, because we all, I'm sure, have ignored our stress, right? So I go to Dr. Google, I'm going to research. And then I find that, like, it's really complicated, right? So here we have a 30-day hormonal reset, which has pills, potions, and powders to buy. And then you have a regimen. You get up at 5 a.m., and then you like meditate for an hour, and then you do an ice cold face bath and journal for 50 minutes, you know, all these insights you had while you were meditating. And then make sure you finish your caffeine by 12:01 p.m. and no sugar after 2:38. And only green food. Oh, and by the way, still keep your life going and your work going and your family going. Oh, and then meditate for another hour and get to bed by 8:00 p.m. so you can, like, really complicated. I'm not looking for complicated, I'm looking for calm. All right, so now I'm gonna look for some self-care essentials. Only $500 for all the best body balms, lotions, creams, candles, crystals, essential oils, fuzzy socks, masks, everything for only $500. And then 95% of the things you don't even use, and they clutter your bathroom counter. I'm not looking for expensive either. And here's a luxury, a misspelled wellness package for only $2,000. A weekend getaway. For a weekend, you can get rid of all your stress. Really? If any of you can get rid of your stress over a weekend, I really need to talk to you. Whoops. Went too quick. Okay, so I'm done with looking online. Maybe I'm going to collect data. Now I'm going to start recording data so I can see, maybe put that together for a self-care, get rid of my stress plan. Okay, so now my watch, my ring is in the mail, and I'm going to monitor my sleep score, my heart rate variability, how many minutes I've been asleep, how many minutes I've been in deep sleep, how many times I've been awake, and then don't forget your BMR, your BMI, how many calories, how many steps have I just taken, how many calories have I taken, how many calories have I burned? Oh, now I'm stressing about finding the money to hire someone to analyze all of this data to help me with my self-care plan. Oh, and by the way, there are now scales available that you can find out how much fat you have in one arm. I bought one because I'm a science nerd, and it's, anyways, yeah. You stand there with this, and then, all right, so now I'm gonna just, on Instagram, there has got to be somebody on Instagram that can help me, that an influencer that has tips or something. So you find someone before you know it, you're on this shopping cart carousel of anti-anxiety must-haves and doodads, and you've got to buy this and you've got to buy this, and it's like, oh, no. So self-care does not need to be expensive, complicated, or a luxury. I'm here to tell you that today and reintroduce you to the KISS principle. Keep it simple, sweetie. Yes, Maddie, you thought I was going to use the other S word. That's so silly. So when I became a mom of 2 toddlers, I was in my mid-40s. I had a thriving massage therapy practice. It's a little bit busy. I didn't have time and energy anymore to do my self-care, right? No time to go to the gym. I couldn't go for a walk whenever I wanted. So I had to create kind of a concept. And so I created simple self-care. So simple self-care is any intentional self-care action that's not complicated. You do not have to change your shoes or your clothes. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to block this time out on your schedule. You don't have to pay anybody. And believe it or not, you can get benefits within 30 seconds. You can start resetting your nervous system. 30 seconds. There's scientific research out there. It takes you 30 seconds to go from fight or flight to resting and digesting. So if you remember anything from my talk today, these 3 words: pause, breathe, reset. The middle word's interchangeable, and you'll see in just a minute. So this simple self-care, we're all different. We all like different things. There's different situations that need different solutions. I created 3 simple categories. The first one is in the moment. I want all of you to put your feet flat on the floor. Take a big breath in, another breath in, and then all the way out. Let's do that again. Big breath in, another breath in, and this time when you exhale, just let all that tension go in your shoulders, your neck. Congratulations, you've just started resetting your nervous system. That easy. So that is a physiological sigh. There's box breathing. There's all kinds of different breathing. And another way to get in the moment, too, is engage one of your senses. So, if you're feeling stressed, get up and look out the window, or take a walk outside, or maybe love on one of your fur babies. And when you come to visit me at the Speaker League table, I have a taste buds simple self-care treat. And we're going to call it Pause, Melt, Reset. Susie's got one. It's chocolate, dark chocolate. So pause, breathe, reset. So in the moment, to get yourself in the moment, start calming your nervous system. Second category is movement. Movement's really underrated, right? There's so much research that's coming out that movement's so good for mental health and for physical health. And you actually burn up some of your stress byproducts as well when you're moving. So let's just do some shoulder rolls. You're waiting for something to download on your computer. You're waiting for that phone call. Rather than yelling at your computer, do some shoulder rolls, or even just sit up straight and stretch. Give those tight muscles in your shoulders some movement, more blood flow. Get rid of the tension. Short walk. Go get a glass of water. Go to the bathroom, even if you don't need to. So this would be pause, move, reset. Another simple self-care. All right, the third one, I have to say this is probably my favorite. It's called mind unfullness. We want to brain dump. We want to get stuff out of our brain. So journaling is a perfect way. Who journals here? Awesome. Who has a lot of misconceptions about journaling here? So journaling's really good, especially when your HOA puts a cease and desist order on your backyard renovations because you haven't filled all the proper paperwork, and you're really annoyed and you're really frustrated and your husband just won't listen to you anymore. Journal it. Real story. We just got approval. Or make a list. Like how many, especially women, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Women, you have 100 things to do today, right? First of all, understand you're not going to get those 100 things done. But make a list, brain dump. Take those 30 seconds to reset your nervous system so you can think clear and decide, okay, this one really needs to go first. Then I'll do that one. And positive affirmations. Who uses those, positive affirmations? Good job. So they're really good. You repeat a positive line or mantra in your head that then pushes out the negative. So it's like, I've got this. I've got this. No, I don't. No. Yes. I've got this. I've got this. So with consistency and repeating it, repetition, I guess would be the word, then you push those negative thoughts out of your brain. Again, reset your nervous system. You can get back to work. All right, so brings me to the end. So now we've learned that ignoring our stress really does have consequences, right? And then we now know that self-care does not have to be expensive, complicated, or a luxury. So do yourself a favor, click on that QR code and get the 24 signs and symptoms of stress overload. Share with me at the Speaker League table, come and visit me, share what your stress score is if you want to, and let's find a simple self-care technique that you can start doing today, now, to stop ignoring your stress. Or better yet, take a picture of that. There are 3 great books on the bottom, and if you're anything like me, you'll probably forget the titles in 3 minutes. So the middle one is Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, one of my favorite books by Robert Sapolsky, a neurobiologist at Stanford. One on the right is When the Body Says No by Dr. Gabor Mate. Is that on the right? Left. And then the one on the right would be Simple Self-Care, Save Me by yours truly, which I've heard is pretty good. So thank you so much for your time and attention. So let's stop ignoring our stress. Start using some one simple self-care technique. And remember, take care of your body. It's the only one you'll ever own.